Do you know how to make the Jacob's ladder stitch? Good morning, everybody. This is Deb from Just Do Something Homestead, and today we're going to start our first major project. This is Jacob's ladder. I recreated this pattern about 10 years ago when I was searching for a very cute, soft pattern to do baby blankets for. It is not a difficult pattern. All you need to do is chain, single crochet, and double crochet, but it has multiple steps that make it look very difficult. I am almost finished with this purple one, and what I like to do is have a stuffed animal that holds these projects when they're finished. So I will be wrapping up this cute little blanket and having this cat hold it. Well, this fall we are expecting yet another grandbaby, and so I am going to be making a blue baby blanket today. One of the challenges is finding the colors that you want to use. I do not get wrapped up on only using certain brands because sometimes certain brands don't have the colors that I need. And so what I do is I use different brands to come up with a color combination I want. On this purple blanket, you see that I like to do solid colors and then a light color surrounded by a multi, light color, solid, and that is the pattern that I stick with most of the time. What you see is these bright dark colors really make this baby blanket stand out. So when I'm looking at a variegated yarn, I'm looking at the colors that are in it. Some of these colors I want to match perfectly, but others I want to be bright so it stands out. I've done baby blankets in the past where all I used was a variegated yarn. I did not like the results. I think it's just too much at one time, and so I like to put other colors in there, and I found that if I surround the variegated with white, it makes the whole blanket lighter. And this is an example of that. This is a baby blue, light colored blue. But if I was to put darker colors on either side, it completely changes the look. So if I want something bright and bold, then I would use black, but for baby blankets, I almost always go with white. This baby blanket calls for 5 different colors, and I'm going to show you what determines the colors that I pick. I start with my variegated, and I found one that I like. It's got some dark blue, it's got some aqua and some baby blue. I'm not going to match that aqua. I want to focus on the blues. So my variegated surrounded by white equals 1 row of color. So as you see on here, that is 1 row. That means I need 4 additional colors. I start with the lightest, and this was the lightest blue that I could find. And so if you look at it, it matches the blue that is in this variegated. Next, I go with another baby blue, but just a tad bit darker. And when you hold those next to each other, you can see that they are just the slightest bit different. This is when I go back to the variegated and I choose colors that are going to pop. And the next one I'm going with is the dark blue. This dark blue is actually called blue suede. And when I hold it against it, it really looks dark against it. That's what I want. I want a color that stands out. And lastly, I went with an aqua color. I did not want to have green in this baby blanket, so this is one way that I can tie it in with the blues. You're going to need 1 skein of all of those colors, 2 skeins of white, and if this was a large one, you would need a regular 2 skeins of the multi. Now I have these small ones, which actually I have about a dozen of these, so that will be plenty. But most of your multicolored is going to come in the standard 7-ounce one. And even though I'm making a baby blanket, I am not using baby yarn. I think that I have more variety in colors if I go with the regular. And so I just stick with usually Red Heart, but not always, but the Super Saver. The next decision that I make before I ever pick up a crochet hook is the order that I'm going to put my yarn. So I try to start with a yarn that is just a basic color on the end. I'm doing a purple blanket. I want a nice bright purple on the end. And then it's going to alternate with my white and multi. So I am going to go from dark to light to dark to light, and I keep that pattern going on and on. So I don't want to go from very light to a little brighter to dark to very dark. I rather have it pop out, and you achieve that by going from dark to light, dark to light. I'm going to start by using one of my baby blue ones. It's not the lightest one, it was the next one. I have placed a slip stitch on my hook. This is a J hook. That is the size that I typically use. And if you're not sure how to do a slip stitch, I'm not teaching how to do basic stitches. I'm teaching you how to do a pattern. So I will put the link below on how to do a slip stitch, a chain, a single crochet, and a double crochet. And from this point, you chain 158 stitches. All right, I have chained 158. Now, the first and the last row of this blanket is very different than the rest. So this is where, I said it changes a lot. So what you're going to do is skip that first stitch, go to the next one, and single crochet in the next 6 stitches. So that's 1, 2, and it's very floppy at first, and you will see why. 3, 4, 5, and 6. Now, a little hint is to make a pretty loose chain to start so that it's not too tight. All right, so I have 6 single crochets. Now, you're going to chain 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, oops, get that one, 4, 5, and 6. Let me show you what it looks like. All right, so you have 6 single crochets. You have chained 6. This is where it gets complicated. You're going to skip 4 stitches and put a single into the 5th. So 1, 2, 3, 4, skip 4 and put a single crochet there. And now you're just going to repeat this pattern going the whole way across. So 6 single crochet, 2, 3, 4, 5, pull some yarn, and 6. Then chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Skip 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and put it in the next stitch. And you're going to continue this the entire way across. So 6 single crochet, chain 6, skip 4, go the whole way across. Let me show you what it's looking like. It looks a little funky. That's exactly what we should see. All right, I am at the end of my row. I have done 6 single crochet, chain 6, skipped 4, and continued that pattern. 6 single crochet, chain 6, skip 4, and 6 single crochet, and I am at the end. Now, you will not have to do that ever again on this blanket. That's only the first row. That's why I said it's easy stitches, but it's a lot to remember. All right, I weave in all my edges, and I'm going to show you how I do that with the very first one. So I am going to actually stick this down to where that stitch is. And I'm going to grab that stitch and pull him up. Pull him so he's all the way up. All right, so what I have done is I have that stitch now that I'm going to crochet across that row, and he is woven in. All right, next row, chain 2. You're going to turn, and everything I do on this blanket is back loop only. So if you turn this so you can see the top, you have the V shape going across the side. You have the front loop and the back loop. All of my stitches are only back loop. I also alternate from single to double. So that was a row of single. So now I'm going to do double crochet. So yarn over, and I'm going to go to the back. Now you have that loop there because I am weaving that in. So work it around. Make sure that that tail is on top of your stitch. And you're only going to do that for 5 stitches. And put a double crochet. All right, on to the next one. Make sure that tail is over that stitch. Back loop only. And if it's too complicated to do this, just weave the tail in at the end, but I don't like having to come back. So yarn over, back stitch only. Make sure that tail's above that stitch. Pull it through, 2 and 2. So that's 3 stitches. I'm going to cut this tail off after 5 stitches. There's 6 stitches because you had 6 single crochet. So one more. That tail is still there. All right, so what I'm going to do now, move that all out of the way, is you see I have the tail. There's the yarn I'm using. That's the blanket, and right here is the tail. I'm going to cut that tail off. And so I give it a little tug so that it tightens it a bit, and then I cut it off right there. All right, so that is 5 stitches on there. Now I am going to do the 6th one because we're working in 6s. So I have 6 double crochet on top of my 6 single crochet. This is where it differs. You're going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, give a tug. 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, you can just skip that chain now. You don't have to skip 4 stitches. You skip the chain and you go over to the first stitch. So that's still part of the chain. So it's this one right here. Back loop only, and do 6 double crochet. So 1, 2. As I said, not hard at all. You can do this. It just takes some counting. And I think once you do the first one, it gets far easier. I make about 30 of these a year. All right. And after a while, you don't even have to count. You can go 2, 4, or 5. All right, one more. All right, so you have 6 double crochet, chain 7, double crochet is 7. 1, 2, 3. Oops, I got a little loop on there. Let's start over. Got it caught. That's the greatest thing about crocheting. You just pull it back out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now these loops are going to be the Jacob's ladder that you're going to weave in, but for now you're just going to have these very holy loops. All right, so repeat it, and you're going to do 6 double crochet, chain 7, and skip that chain and go over 6 double crochet, chain 7 the whole way across. Back loops only. 6 double crochet, chain 7, 6 double crochet all the way to the end. All right, I finished the second row, which was double crochet, back loops only. Now you're going to chain 1 and turn. And now we repeat that first row. So that was 6 single crochet. And then you're going to chain 6. Remember, single crochet is 6 chains. Double crochet is 7. if you don't do that, then the loops that you pull for Jacob's ladder are going to be different sized, and it just looks a little funky. So when you have 6 single crochet, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then find the next place. Make sure this doesn't get all tangled. You're going to have these loops. We're going to take care of those loops pretty quick. And back loop only. 6 single crochet, chain 6, 6 single crochet all the way across to the end. There's 3, 4, 5, and 6. All right, just like that. That is the end of the single crochet. You're going to chain 2, turn, and we're back to double crochet. So your double crochet is 6 double crochet, chain 7, 6 double crochet, chain 7 the whole way across. And that is the pattern that you do completely for the rest of this blanket. So I am on the 4th row. Each color is 6 rows or combination of colors. So I am going to do, if you look here, I have single, double, single, double. So I'm going to do a single and a double and come back. And at that point, I will have 6 rows. So do 6 rows of your first color. Remember, you're only working on those back loops. Here's another one. So this was double crochet. So 6 double crochet, 7 chains, 6 double crochet, 7 chains, then turn, and you're going to do 6 single crochet, 6 chains, 6 single crochet, 6 chain, chain 2, turn, and your last row, which will be row 6, will be 6 double, chain 7, 6 double. And I will be back when I have that finished. All right, friends, that is all the time we have today. So let's look at what we're going to go over next week. We are going to continue where we were by adding the 6 rows. And then I'm going to show you how to change colors, how to braid it into the Jacob's ladder. And then we're going to continue adding other colors and more rows. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and share, and have a great week. Bye-bye.